Oh, you're on Twitch.
Twitch and YouTube. I'm doing Twitch and
okay.
YouTube
Yeah,
at the same time.
Twitch. I thought it was through like the StreamYard thing, but you pull it up through. Okay.
No, but it's. I'm doing. What up, E?
Dang.
Yeah, I'm doing Twitch and YouTube.
But Dixie's gonna be on Twitch and YouTube
at the same. Yeah.
Okay.
At the same time, yeah.
I thought they had to go to StreamYard. That makes more sense.
To be on Twitch and YouTube.
No, I pulled up the same. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like how I'm covering myself. I think my picture looks the best.
Say that again.
I think my caricature looks the best, and I'm covering myself up on the background here.
Oh, okay. No. Yeah. No, Okay. Well, I see it on YouTube that YouTube is fine.
I don't see you streaming on Twitch.
You don't?
No, I'll refresh. Let me see. Oh, there it is. I see it now.
Yes, sir. Look at us.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. Let me make. Oh, Eris is muted. You're muted right now. Is that was on purpose? Oh, okay. That's funny. Okay, cool. All right, so at least it's working. I probably should have done a test run, but we'll be all right. We're just not gonna do that. We just don't. That's what this show is. So yeah, this is the first time I'm using StreamYards, but this was recommended.
Off the cuff, baby.
So yeah, but anyway, we gotta figure out as we do these like some really cool. We gotta do like really cool intro. Like there's in this thing there is a like a countdown video. Now I'm kind of playing with stuff, but it doesn't really matter. But all right. Anyway, once we get like really cool like a countdown video or intro video, like we can have that, and then we're like, what the fuck is up? We're gonna kick out with Sauce and Adam and BoTilly. But yeah, man, welcome guys.
We're here.
Cowboys by 50, baby.
I just want to know if it's possible to block somebody like immediately.
Remove his thing. Let's get somebody else in here. Just move him. Right. New rule. Anytime Eric says something stupid about the Cowboys, it's just me and you on the screen.
I swear.
Timeout.
Oh, I swear.
Hey man, we got one playoff team in here, man. How we gonna act like that?
Ooh, that's tough because yeah, I mean, I had a Bear shirt on all day today, but I got my hair cut, so then I had hair on my shirt. You know what I'm saying? So then, you know, I was itchier on the neck. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't, you know, wear the shirt. So
you decided to wear a softball school hoodie.
Hey man, we're softball, soccer, you know, volleyball. But right now, women's soccer school, Natty champ.
Yeah, everything except for like, you know, the big time sports. So like
basketball. That's really crazy. That's really crazy that you mentioned that because Texas and Houston aren't good at anything.
Whoa.
So
what did Houston? Hold on. What did Houston do?
I feel like Texas gets on a straight bullet too. We were talking about
what did Houston do?
I don't like Houston just simply because of Adam. Like we were playing 2K like 2 weeks ago, and we faced a pro-am team, and they had the Houston basketball uniform, and I was like, we simply cannot lose to this team just because Adam somehow gonna find out.
What I'm saying is we won double digits and our bowl game.
Well, FSU didn't make a bowl game.
Exactly.
But next year, though, you know, we're gonna hit the transfer portal hard.
I already hit that in Texas, so I don't know.
I think Florida State needs to worry about beating Jacksonville State for the first time in like 3 years.
Okay. First off, a couple things on that. One, I need somebody to explain to me that's smarter than I am how they can be named Jacksonville State when that is not a state. Same with like, let me see Boise State. Grand Valley State. Like I'm not the most geographically.
You know what? I never thought of it like that.
It's not, bro. It's a state university, man. It's not. You know what I mean? Like, it's not naming state.
I'm with Bo on this one.
I don't understand. Do they get like? Are they state funded or like? How are they able to be called state?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Is where they get their money from or something or other. I don't know. I understand what you're saying. Like, it makes sense that it's not a state, right? Coppin is not a state. There's no thing as a
Coppin State. Another one.
Like, so for it to be called Coppin State.
Exactly. I don't even think that's a real university. So. But anyway, yeah, speaking of college football, I guess the first thing that we can go over is the college football season is now over. I think it's one of my favorite seasons, but we do have college basketball going on. March Madness is on the horizon. So March Madness, nothing like that. But national championship on Monday, Georgia, Alabama. What did you guys think of that?
For me, it was about what I expected was going to happen. I picked Georgia to win at the start of the year. That's kind of what I thought would happen this game. I didn't think that I thought it'd be a little bit more higher scoring, a little bit more faster pace. That first half was kind of a snoozer.
Yeah.
I don't know. Georgia didn't look they were ready to play. Alabama couldn't seize the moment. But as far as the actual final score in the game went, yeah, I think Georgia's the best team. Stetson Bennett, shout out to him. He proved all the haters wrong. It's a happy story. I think he's. I kind of want him to come back for his 6th season, but I don't know.
Wait, how long has he been in college for?
He's been in college for 5 years. He has one more year left. He can come back if he wants to. But if I was him, I kind of just ride this out into the sunset, like go out on a high note.
You're not repeating because Alabama coming back.
Well, Alabama's losing week 2. We're gonna talk about that later, though.
Oh, heard you. Yeah, I mean Stetson Bennett, Connor Gillespie, Brad Davison, all competing to see who can be in college the longest. But yeah, I think I hate blaming injuries for anything, and I know Alabama was down both of their top 2 receivers, so I don't know if that had anything to do with it, because I thought Alabama was kind of controlling the game up until that point. But after that, Georgia kind of pinned their ears back, and their defense was like insane. So instead of Bennett, just all he had to do was just not mess it up, which he almost did. But there were interceptions late, which he almost did. But then he came back, threw a dime, and they kind of didn't look back from there. But what are you saying, Aries?
Yeah, so my thing with the whole national championship game thing is like fully expected, right? So you see it at the beginning of the season or whatever. Every year, Bama's gonna be there, right? At the end of the day, Bama's gonna be in the conversation. We're gonna talk about Bama. Whether it's a 1, 2, 3, you're probably not gonna get them at a 4 very often, but if you get them at the 4, at some point, we're gonna talk about Bama. Georgia, that team has some players, right? Like there's some dudes on that Georgia team. And like going into the game, so we get the national championship game, and it's like you say, all right, the game is gonna be super low scoring. Like, yeah, well, welcome to SEC football, right? That's exactly what we're gonna get. We're gonna get 2 very stout defenses. And for me, that's just not who I am as a sports fan, right? As a sports fan, I lean toward the offense. So I was extremely bored in the first half. And I don't think I've ever been that bored watching a college football game ever. But that's expected in the SEC. For me, I thought Bama was going to win once we got Bama, Georgia. I thought we'd get another win from Alabama because, they played or whatever already. I thought we'd get another win, but we didn't. I don't think Bryce Young made enough. Plays. Obviously, it's very rare that we get an Alabama football game and Alabama is on the wrong side of playmakers, right? Normally, Alabama has playmakers all throughout the lineup, and even in the backups, you got more 5-star guys or 4-star guys. But I felt like they were actually outmatched in talent, especially once Jamison Williams went down, because I I don't know who any of those guys were that were supposed to be pass catchers for them. Like, what does Bryce Young do when he's out there throwing the ball to guys like us? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, I'm nice.
He's throwing guys like us.
I'm a QB, but I'm nice. All right.
I don't know what he's supposed to do as far as making plays. I think he got the short end of the stick. With that being said, I mean, even still, he wasn't near good enough, and that Georgia defense is very, very good. And I think they had all the playmakers. They made all the right plays. Stetson Bennett made some big time throws. He stepped up big time, and he made some good plays. Even though it was boring, you still got to tune in because it's college football, man. It's the last game of the year.
I agree. Yeah, it was. I guess it was like I guess it was weird for Bryce Young to have so many interceptions just because he only had 5 all year, and then he had 2 in the national championship game. But again, he was basically throwing to us. I mean, but I can't feel bad because Alabama has 4 5-stars every single year. So I feel like it's kind of next man up there. But they were probably very much underclassmen. But, good on Stetson Bennett for winning. But do you think with the transfer portal and Kirby Smart getting his first ring, do you think there's kind of like a changing of the guard in college football, or do you think this is kind of a fluky year? Or because Nick Saban seems like pretty content. He was kind of like I've never seen Nick Saban be this happy after a loss. I don't know if this is just because it was his kind of understudy and Kirby Smart winning the whole thing, but what do you guys think about that?
I wouldn't call it a fluke year. I think Georgia was just a better team. It's just kind of how things matched up with players leaving, players coming back. Georgia have a lot of veteran players on there. And I just think they were just a better team this year, even with Alabama had a lot of injuries, but we saw that Georgia D-line, they were able to get after Bryce Young pretty much all game, and we've seen them struggle all year when he gets pressured. They weren't able to get him down in the SEC championship game. They didn't sack him once, and they got blown out. Championship game, things a little bit different, so they have a shot. Next year, Alabama, they'll be back. Bryce Young is going to be there another year, hungry. It's Alabama. It's really nothing you can do.
Yeah, one thing that you learn about Nick Saban, right, is that he's gonna be back. It's always, every year, feel like we're talking about we want Bama. Everybody wants Bama, and then Bama pull up. And they're checking all those boxes. They're going to pull up again next year, checking all the boxes, right? They got the Heisman winner coming back. I think they're going to be hungry. Obviously, Nick Saban is Nick Saban, right? He's going to reload, one of the better recruiters. And Georgia, I think they're losing a lot of key pieces. They have some ballers on their defense. One of which is a future Dallas Cowboy, but we'll probably talk about the draft at some other episode. But one of their ballers is a future Dallas Cowboy. He's leaving. I think Georgia will be good. I don't think Stetson Bennett is NFL ready. I think he comes back. Like I said, I don't think he's an NFL guy.
Will he ever be NFL ready?
I don't.
I think this is who he is. Right? This is who that guy is, right? Like he's not gonna get much better than this.
He was like 3rd on the depth chart at the beginning of the year, or something like that. I think Kirk Herbstreit or somebody was saying that they were. He was like 3rd. They weren't even talking about him in like the pregame.
Yeah, man, I thought. I don't know. Like I said, he'll probably be back next year. But as you know, Alabama's going to reload. I don't know if I was calling it a fluke year. I don't know if I'd say that. Georgia, like Adam said, Georgia was just loaded, man. Like they were stacked, and they played to the hype. They were good. Bama will be back, and next year we'll see them, lose to Texas, and we'll be having this conversation again. Is it a fluke year or is it not? But we'll talk about that whenever the schedule is released and we're starting to wind up and get ready for the college football season all over again.
You mentioned Adam mentioned week 2. Why is Alabama losing week 2 next year?
They got them horns.
Okay, so I need to know. I need to know. Honestly, like, are you a Houston fan or a Texas fan?
Both.
Okay, but like, if they were playing each other, who are you rocking with?
Whoever it benefits more.
Okay. Okay.
If
Because
you
I
ain't
like
national championship game, I'm not gonna pick. They might
okay.
next year. You never know.
Because like I like Florida State, but I also love Wisconsin. But if they're both
Exactly.
playing each other, I'm always taking Florida State.
You always say. See,
Uh,
I would have thought you would always take Wisconsin. I'm shocked to hear
no, a Knowles fan first above anything.
that.
We're just
No.
not a football school or basketball school right now. We're a women's soccer school, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah. For me, I think I'm more Texas football, Houston basketball. But
My dad has jumped into the comments. What's up, my dad? He said, "Who names their kid Stetson?" I did tweet that out yesterday, saying during the national championship game, saying I don't know if I would be afraid of someone named Stetson Bennett the fourth personally. But then after, as soon as I tweeted that out, he started. What else did he say? He said, "Great story, but he won't even start for Georgia next year." That could be true too. Is JT Daniels
Very
still
true.
going to be there next year? He's still going to be there next year, right? So he might be the guy, or
I
do
think
they
so.
have
They also
somebody?
have I think they have a 5-star quarterback coming in too.
Did JT Daniels play well this year at all? He played for a little bit, no? Yeah.
He didn't play. He didn't play great, but like people were even questioning who was going to start in the national championship game, whether it be Stetson or JT. Like people were kind of clamoring for both.
Like, why do you have to choose that? You know, like, ugh.
Let's see, Dad. A little bit.
Here go Pops.
Hey man, This is how you know I'm my dad's kid.
Is that true? I feel like we need to fact check that one.
FSU is the #1 transfer portal recruiting class. Don't underestimate. Hey,
is that true?
I don't know. I believe my
Texas
dad.
has 2 5-star transfers, don't we?
I believe my dad. And I believe in the no. Corbell is hooping in the transfer portal. I do know that.
I think the transfer portal is like it's definitely huge now in college football. Like it's a big deal. You know, it's another part of recruiting at this point. You know what I mean? Because like you get so many good players that just.
I think it's more important than recruiting. I would say.
Yeah, because they're like already established players. You know.
Yes.
Do you think like the money aspect of it is going to get out of hand? And because like I think it is, right? Because like if in professional sports you have salary caps on like the NBA, the NFL, things like that. With college football, it's like
all I'm gonna say is Texas A&M isn't getting all these recruits all of a sudden because they're a great school and have a great atmosphere.
True. Same with like Jackson State. Like I love Dion. Love Dion, right? FSU guy, right? We're an NFL factory, FSU. You know what I'm saying? But all right, whatever. Anyway, so I feel like there needs to be some sort of regulation or like commissioner something to kind of regulate all of this because this is just going to get out of hand. But at the same time, it's not going to be like out of nowhere. You know, the Big Ten is going to start getting all of the best players. Like it's always going to be the South. It's always going to be the SEC. You know, that's going to get the best players regardless. But I do think there needs to be some sort of regulation involved.
I think if you know anything about the NCAA, you know that they're going to regulate it somehow. At some point, it'll get regulated in some way, shape, or form. These kids are signing $1 million NIL deals, man. That's a lot of money. You know what I mean? That's a lot of money for kids that are, you know, freshmen and sophomores or whatever. And of course, you know, I think that does play a part in transfers and what schools get what players and kind of things like that, of course. And, you know, winning is also one of those things, but you can't regulate, you know, how teams win, right? But you can regulate, you know, how much money these kids are making on these NIL deals and these endorsements and stuff like that. I mean, right now it's not out of hand, but you know, who can offer the most money, I think is going to definitely at some point play a part in some of these kids' decisions.
I mean, even after they find some sort of like regulation or anything like that, but I still think that the SEC is still going to rule in terms of of that. But like to Adam's point, it's like Texas A&M out of nowhere is now
right. I mean,
you know what I mean,
for me, you know, I don't think you might not see a regulation until people like Spencer Rattler stop choosing South Carolina or whatever. Like, you know, like if you see stuff like that still in the transfer portal, big time players choosing, smaller universities, or I guess worse universities than like the Alabamas, the Texases, the the Floridas, the Miamis, the luxury places, the USCs and stuff like that. If you see big time players choose, I say lesser in a kind of ironic sense, I guess, but lesser universities, I think, maybe they won't regulate it for a little while because, we're still getting good players go to schools where they have opportunities to kind of do things.
Yeah. What do you think about Spencer Rattler going to South Carolina? Like, do you think that's gonna matter?
I think that was think about Spencer Rattler coming out of Oklahoma. He's a drama queen. That's what the stories were. Obviously, I don't know him personally, so I'm not gonna slander the man. But I think, in my opinion, it was a very safe move for him. He picked the safest option because if South Carolina does horrible, it's South Carolina. Nobody cares. Nobody's gonna blame him. You know, they don't have the weapons, the pieces. And if they do well, say they win 10 games next year, it's all because of Spencer Rattler all of a sudden.
You're right.
That's what I'm gonna say. It was a business decision. I would have liked to see him take on that pressure and go to, a bigger school and prove that he's the guy.
Maybe he's not built.
But I think it was a safe move. I'm not gonna say a cowardly move, but I didn't like it.
Man, I didn't like it. Obviously, I don't. I mean, what do they offer you? You know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of with Adam. It's really safe. You're South Carolina. You're, at the very minimum, or at the maximum, you're the third best team in the SEC at the max, right? Yep. Because you're not as good as Georgia, you're not as good as Alabama. So at the max, you're number 3. And it's just like Adam said, you if they lose, it's like, well, it's South Carolina, but Spencer put up great numbers. You know what I mean? It's kind of like I compare it to Sam Howell a little bit at North Carolina. It's just like he puts up decent numbers, but like they're bad and they're not. They win. It's like, yeah, it's great quarterback play, but if they lose, it's kind of like, it's North Carolina. Same thing in South Carolina. If they lose, it's like, well, they're not as good as Alabama, they're not as good as Georgia, not as good as Auburn, not as good as Florida. It's always they're not as good as A&M, kind of things like that. You're always going to. I think he has a built-in excuse that he definitely didn't have at Oklahoma because. Oklahoma, you're supposed to be better than Texas. You're supposed to be better than Baylor. You're supposed to be better than all these teams, and you lose. You lose to all these teams. You play probably the worst football you've ever played. You get benched. Your backup comes in. Another great guy. Another 4-star, 5-star guy comes in and leads the team to victories over and over, and he makes the big plays over and over. And it's like, well, maybe it was Spencer Rattler. Maybe it's your fault. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not Lincoln Riley. Maybe it's not the coaching. Maybe it's not the play calling. Maybe it's just your limitations as a thrower. It's your limitations as a decision maker and kind of things like that.
Yeah. I will say, side note one, Sam Howell, he declared for the draft. I'm always going to be a little salty towards him because he was fully committed to Florida State and then flipped on signing day. So
he flipped to North Carolina?
Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
How did y'all manage that? Yeah, how did y'all manage that?
We lose recruits to Ohio State. That's all I'm gonna say. Y'all lose recruits to North Carolina.
But we did. We beat Sam Howell twice. We beat North Carolina the last 2 years, so chew on that. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, I don't know. I think I hated how Spencer Rattler went out. I think looking over your shoulder the entire season because people were clamoring for Caleb Williams, that's got to be tough, like mentally as a quarterback. So I think him having a fresh start somewhere is going to be helpful. And then, like to Eris's point, I think he's going to have a chance to prove that he kind of got a bad shake. I don't know how you really get a bad shake at Oklahoma personally, but if he can go there and elevate South Carolina, then that could help his draft stock. I've just never seen such a fall before from being a Heisman front runner at the beginning of the year to like you being benched, and then your replacement now getting Heisman consideration mid-year. Like, that's crazy. I've never seen anything like that before.
I'm pretty sure during the year they were calling for him to get the job back at some point in one of the games because Caleb was playing horrible. And it's just like, man, how do you not take advantage of that? You know what I mean? Like you have a chance, like you're a Heisman front runner at the beginning of the year, and you just, Lord, it just
He
wasn't.
came in one of the games, didn't he? He came in. Was it the Kansas game? He came
The
in.
Kansas game, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think he finished the Kansas game. I think he came in.
Caleb finished it. I think he came in like the third quarter or something.
How do you not take advantage against Kansas? Well, hold on. I'm gonna take
Kansas
Never
is pretty good. Kansas is a good
Never
football
mind.
team.
Sore subject for Texas fans there.
All right, so I guess we'll move on to the NFL. We do have the NFL wild card weekend coming up, but we'll get to those picks in a little bit. But we want to first talk about the NFL. I'm not a Cowboys fan. My grandma was a Cowboys fan, so I do have a little soft spot for the Cowboys. Hold on, before we go to that, we do have some comments. We got one from Fur saying, so we talk footy at the cookout, or hell no, fuck that. We will be talking football of the European variety.
With Chelsea.
Not today. I'm a Liverpool fan personally. I know.
We got Chelsea Liverpool in the final, Bo.
Huh?
Chelsea versus Liverpool. Oh, did Liverpool win today? I don't even know.
I didn't look.
They did.
But okay, we got my boy Tox in here. Tox also a FSU fan as well. Fellow 2K legend. Tox is FSU fan. We lose
What's
against
up,
North Carolina and Jackson State, but we did kill the portal. They sleeping on us. They sleeping on Coach.
I gotta look at I gotta pull this up.
They sleeping on us, Tox. So first said Liverpool
drew. They drew. That's embarrassing.
Anyway, Toxfer, thanks for being in, man. Definitely, you can click the link up top if you want to end up joining the show live. You can put your camera on and you can vibe with us too. That's what the cookout is all about. So, okay. But anyways, moving on to NFL. Lot of coaching changes. People getting fired. We're gonna get to our picks later. All right, we're gonna get to our picks. Not gonna ruin anything, but Eris has some homer picks anyway. But we're gonna go into the coaching carousel. A lot of people getting fired, things like that. What was your guys' like most shocking? I guess like which like coach that got fired were you most shocked by?
I think for most people it had to be Brian Flores. Getting fired at Miami. I thought he had a bad shake. I mean, they had a rough year, you know, but yeah. there was a stretch where they were winning games. They were looking good. Brian Flores, he came in. Miami was horrible. He fixed his defense up right away. Did y'all hear why he got fired? Did y'all hear about that?
I heard some things in terms of them in the front office not quite getting along. I know that he didn't want Tua. And when they were like trying to tank for Tua, he wasn't really about that. And
you know who he wanted?
Ended up going like 5-11. I heard that he wanted Justin Herbert.
Yeah, that's what everybody's saying. And,
Justin Herbert. Who else was in that draft? There's someone else that was in that draft, but I can't remember. Can't remember who else was in that draft. It wasn't Deshaun Watson. I don't know who else was in that draft. Obviously, not Deshaun Watson. But yeah, he wanted Justin Herbert. He didn't want Tua, so they've been kind of beefing after that. And
he got fired because he didn't get along with his GM. If I was Brian Flores and I wanted Tua, I wanted Justin Herbert, and I get Tua, and then we see what Justin Herbert's doing, right? Like he's one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL.
Like you got to be sick. You got to be sick.
I would be every day. I wouldn't get along with you either. When we're losing games, you're asking why we're losing games. How can we fix that? And then I told you how to fix it, and you don't do what I say.
That game against the Raiders the other day was insane. By the way.
It was.
He was like 4 of 4 for like 107 yards and like a touchdown on 4th down. Like that was crazy. Like the end of that game was crazy. Just making sure I flash all of the comments. But yeah, for me, Brian Flores was definitely my surprise because, yeah, I mean, to Tox's point, I'll bring that comment back up. He was 19-14 overall, and he beat the Patriots 3 times. Like, I live in Boston now, right? And anytime it's Miami week, like at Miami week here, the vibe is just like everyone's nervous because the Patriots just, for whatever reason, like cannot play well in Miami later in the season. So, and yeah, so, but I mean, he's interviewing with the Bears. If the Bears get Brian Flores, might do a naked lap.
Not happening. Stories came out today that he prefers the Giants job. So Giants just don't have a GM yet.
Which is a dumpster fire. But we'll get into that in a second. Eric, what was your most did you have a most shocking coaching fire, or was it also Brian Flores?
Yeah, so Brian Flores obviously was a shock to me. But I think you guys touched on everything with Brian Flores already. So I kind of won't say him, but I guess I'll talk about it just a little bit. Yeah, man, that's interesting. That, you know, I mean, they weren't good at the start of the season. I think that maybe they made their decision up early in the year, and then he rattles off 8 of the last 9 or something wild like that. And it's kind of like how can you justify that? You know what I mean? But like I said, I think y'all touched everything. For me, I would say the most shocking-ish one would be David Culley, the coach of the Texans.
Yeah.
Getting the boot after 1 year. I don't know, man. Like it just doesn't make sense to me that, you know, he's like your whatever 3rd, 4th option as a head coach that you come in and interview or whatever. Your franchise right now is a dumpster fire. Your GM comes into a crappy situation. I'm actually about to talk about Brian Flores too. Some stuff I heard talks. But like, you know, you come in as a GM, you're in a dumpster fire. Your head coach then comes in. His star player doesn't want to play for him. He's, you know, talking bad to the cameras and trying to find out it's the same thing every day kind of thing. Your team is not good. You don't have any ballers. They had almost no real studs on that Texans roster. So he does what he can, and then, you know, he gets the boot after 1 year, and stories are coming out saying that they think that, you know, he was going to be a 2-year kind of Band-Aid or whatever, or a 1-year Band-Aid or whatever. It just doesn't make sense to me, and I guess it should because it's the Texans, and they don't really – like their franchise just seems kind of right now. It feels like a very poorly run franchise. But what I did hear was that David Culley possibly got the boot because of Brian Flores's kind of connection with Deshaun Watson, and the Texans might try to bring in Brian Flores to try to convince him to stay with Deshaun Watson. As you know, the Dolphins were very, very active in trying to trade for Deshaun Watson during the season. This season, a lot of that was because of Brian Flores. Obviously, he didn't want Tua, wanted Jay Herbo, didn't get Jay Herbo, so he wanted Deshaun Watson because Deshaun Watson was made available. So I'm hearing, or I've been reading stuff that says that he possibly could, because of that he could possibly be, that the Texans could be possibly trying to gear up to get him into Houston, so maybe he can convince Deshaun Watson to stay and play.
I also, side note on that, I think it's crazy that we just haven't heard anything about the Deshaun Watson, like any allegations or nothing. Like
the last thing I feel like I heard about that or I read about that was that he was settled on a lot of those, except for like 5. You know, first of all, it's a lot, like 20.
A lot, except for 5.
Yeah,
that's a wild statement.
It's like a lot of them, right? It's like 24. But I heard that he had settled, or like he had agreements to settle with like 19 or something wild. But like he had agreements to settle on a lot of those, and I haven't heard. It's been an entire season. We haven't heard almost anything about it. They didn't trade him. I don't know. Like I don't know what they're doing. I feel like this is just a complete mismanagement of the whole thing. Then you fire your head coach. Yeah, you know, you really don't know what's going on in Houston.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, 20. I don't know how many girls came out and said whatever, but like settled with all but 5. That's crazy. All right. That's crazy. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I haven't heard anything about like potential suspensions or like things like that. But yeah, I'm kind of interested with that whole thing. So I mean, if it all gets cleared up before the Bears got Justin Fields, I was like, I might be like a smudge mark on like our franchise brand, but I mean the Bears need somebody. But then we got Justin Fields, so we're back. Eventually.
Well, you're not because you don't have a dude at receiver. But anyway.
What do you mean? We got Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney, they're gonna be connected forever. And if Allen Robinson doesn't come back, then that's whatever. I don't really care. I feel like he checked out during the end of the year anyway, so whatever. I don't really
He definitely did that, I think. Definitely think he did that.
So all right. So I guess in terms of that, were you shocked that Mike Zimmer also got fired? I kind of thought like going into the season, this was kind of like a make or break year for him and the Vikings. Like if the Vikings don't make it to the playoffs or make a run, then it's like I feel like every coaching relationship has an expiration date, and it's kind of like you kind of need to do something.
I was kind of shocked, just because I don't think the Vikings are bad per se. And I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to be there next year either. So I think the window is wide open to win that division and kind of take control. Now, if they had somebody better in mind, then go ahead, go get your guy. But I don't think Mike Zimmer is that bad of a coach. I think he's building something. Why not try and win it without Aaron Rodgers being there and give that a shot? Give him one more year. And if that doesn't work, then go get somebody else.
That's true. I mean, I looked up that he has a 72-56 record. Oh, and a tie record. And as a head coach, I mean, like, as a Bears fan, like, I would take that.
Yeah.
We're in a different bracket right now. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm really interested, like, because I am a Bears fan. I'm in the NFC North, so I'm kind of wondering what life after Aaron Rodgers is going to be like. Because to Adam's point, it is going to be wide open, to where the Lions. I'm not really worried about the Lions,
No.
and the Bears. I think as long as we get the head coach right and we keep our defense together for the most part, I think it will be very, very viable in the NFC North. And then you have the Vikings, and I think Green Bay is going to make a huge push to keep Aaron Rodgers, because at this point, I don't think they believe that Jordan Love can play. Otherwise, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to call a shot here and do what he wants.
So two things about that. I guess the first thing being Aaron Rodgers. I don't think he wants to go back. I think as much as a push that you will make for Aaron Rodgers, I feel like there's only so much you can do, because if you don't want to be there, then he's not going to be there, because there's not a better quarterback in the NFL than that guy. So wherever he goes, if he decides to go anywhere, he's going to play. My choice would be go to the AFC and get out of the NFC, but that's neither here nor there. As far as Zimmer goes, I normally like coaches firings when I feel like we're at the same point that we've been, and I feel like the Vikings, I think I don't know, I think there's something that's not quite good enough with that team. I don't know if it's the quarterback. I don't know if it's
Kirk Cousins, right?
I don't know if it's the quarterback. It's definitely not the halfback. It's definitely not
where did he go to school? Where did he go to school? Tell us.
It's definitely not the running back. Anyways, carry on. It's definitely not the running back. But I don't know if it's the quarterback or if it's the coach. I'm not gonna lie. He kind of rubbed me the wrong way, as just kind of a football supporter. Some of the interviews that he had the last few weeks of the season kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and so him getting fired. I mean, like, I don't think he was just so good that he couldn't be terminated. I think they need to get the next hire right. They definitely need to decide what to do with their expensive ass quarterback, and I mean, what they're gonna do next. Zimmer was okay, but the firing doesn't really shock me that much, I guess.
Yeah, a couple nuggets. For Aaron Rodgers possibly leaving Green Bay. Did hear that the Denver Broncos are interviewing the Packers offensive coordinator and the quarterbacks coach. So I don't
Yeah.
know if they're setting that up on purpose. You know what I'm saying? And it could be like a Peyton Manning situation where Aaron Rodgers goes to the Broncos and they win a championship over there. I would like Aaron Rodgers if he did not play for the Packers personally.
I would like Aaron Rodgers if I never had to see him stop the Cowboys from possibly going to the Super Bowl again.
Sorry, just a second.
So,
Got random ads going on in the background. Sorry.
I'm okay with him going to Denver. Bye, see you. Go over there and deal with, playing against what's his name twice a year.
Okay, so I guess if you were a head coach right now, with all the coaching vacancies going on right now, you have the Jags, you have the Broncos, the Vikings, the Bears, Dolphins, Giants, Texans, and the Raiders. Like, where would you want to go?
Denver, because I think they're going to end up with Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
Vegas.
I said Vegas too. I think Vegas is a good spot.
I think the Raiders are the best team, but I think Denver's going to get Aaron Rodgers, and that's persuading my pick.
I think.
Say you don't get Aaron Rodgers, then what?
If I don't get even if I don't, I'm still taking Denver. I think they have more pieces around them. They just need a quarterback.
I like the Broncos in the way that, like you said, they have players over there. But the only thing is that, and like I like the way that they run the whole shebang bang. I think they're very forward thinking. They're always looking to improve. They're always trying. And one thing about all the teams I support, whether it's the Cowboys, the Mavericks, they're big. I tweeted this earlier. They're big. We love what we have in our locker room, guys. They love to say that. We love what we have in our locker room. Like, what we have in our locker room just sometimes isn't good enough. And I think that the Broncos are one of those teams that always kind of pushing forward and trying to become better. And I'm very, very passionate, and I like that about the Broncos. And I feel like the Rams are also like that, obviously, because they go and they get whoever they want. Though they throw those picks out the window.
Yeah,
those picks, right? They will trade those picks away. But I like that about Denver. The reason I say Vegas is because they are a playoff team. They have a solid quarterback. They have good playmakers on the outside. They have a pretty good defense. Pretty good defense over there. I think they're currently built for success. Without having a big glaring hole in their team. And we know with the Broncos, like you were saying, their big glaring hole is the size of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I think that it would like looking at all the divisions. I think if you drop yourself into the AFC West, that means you have to deal with Pat Mahomes twice a year and Justin Herbert twice a year, and then whoever is going to be quarterbacking Denver twice a year from now on. So I think that would be my only like deterrent from the Vegas job. Other than that, I mean, with so much uncertainty in the NFC North next year with like Aaron Rodgers leaving and things like that and how wide open it is, this is probably a homer pick, but I think the Bears job is kind of nice.
No. The Vikings job is better than the Bears.
The Vikings job is better, but like overall, if you're looking at like if the Bears, one thing the Bears do is that the Bears ownership will give you time. Like they gave Matt Nagy a few years. Like they're not going to fire you after 1 year. So you do have some time there. They always guarantee, like, unless you're an absolute dumpster fire, like you're going to be guaranteed at least a few years to try and make your systems work. Unfortunately for the Bears job, you don't really have a lot of draft capital because we traded all of our first round picks for Khalil Mack and then Justin Fields. So in terms of like draft picks, like you're really going to have to either go on free agency or trades or, just develop your players. So, and also the Bears have to get the GM right too, because we don't have a GM right now either. So
I guess with that, and thinking about draft capital, thinking about the division that you play in, with the exception of that team has no playmakers at all. They're not very good. The Giants' job wouldn't suck. It would suck for a couple of years, maybe a year or two, because they're not great right now.
You won't have a year or two with the Giants job, though.
Well, I'm hearing that Gettleman's on his way out. So
Gettleman retired 3 days ago. He's gone.
Yeah, so he retired, so he's on the way out. He's out, I guess, but like he's on his way out. I don't know. You don't have a year or two, maybe, with the exception that they're just so bad. And the NFC East, I feel like it's always wide open. Like the Cowboys are good this year, but are they going to be good next year? The Eagles, same thing. The Washington football team, same thing with them. Every year, it's always something different, and I think that you have a chance in that division. At any point. Now, like I said, the Giants don't have very many playmakers right now. But I think they have 2 top 10 picks this year. And I think you might not be able to do a lot, but you'll be able to. I think you'll be able to do something with that. And with the NFC East being the NFC East and the uncertainty of it every single year, even with the Cowboys being set up for success for a couple years, it's set up for success for the next couple years. I don't know, man. The Giants are kind of enticing in that way.
Sounds like
could turn those 2 Giants picks into Russell Wilson. That's all I'm gonna say.
But do you think that Russell Wilson and Sierra going to New York, does that change the franchise, or do you still think they finish 4th in the East?
I think it helps. They can stay healthy. The key is them staying healthy. Kenny Galladay and Saquon and all those.
We had as many touchdowns as Kenny Galladay.
Galladay didn't play.
Neither did we.
Jason Garrett calling plays too, so it's hard to score.
My thing is Jason Garrett, and I, as a Cowboys fan, that he's. But even after he left, they were still running quarterback sneaks on 3rd and 9. They just do it.
What is that?
I get it, right? You're not going anywhere. You're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Well, Lord have mercy.
I don't get it. I don't know how you get it.
I understand. You're not going anywhere.
I don't understand it, but I don't know how you do.
But it's just that is. Ugh. What is that?
We'll see how like the next few weeks unfold. I don't think that we're going to hear too much about any of hirings or stuff like that until probably after the Super Bowl, I would assume. But yeah, I'm kind of interested in how that's going to go. Jim Harbaugh too. Like, is he going to come to the NFL, you think? Because a lot of buzz in Chicago is like Harbaugh coming back to Chicago and bringing Vic Fangio with him. That would be tough. Announce it tomorrow. If I don't get Brian Flores, I need Jim Harbaugh and Vic Fangio. That'd be tough.
What about Kellen Moore? You take Kellen Moore?
Would I take Kellen Moore?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I want like an offensive guy who is
not for sale,
not an idiot. Like, not that Matt Nagy was an idiot. I just think that Matt Nagy got a lot more credit than he should have gotten. And I think, he wasn't built for it, at least for now. I don't know. But he's such a nice guy. I don't know. That's the only thing you really say about Matt Nagy. He's a nice guy. Like, I don't know. All right. So we'll move on to now NFL wildcard weekend, probably one of my favorite weekends of the NFL season. And the 3 of us, we made our brackets. If my dad is still watching, I apologize for mine later, but I am going last. My dad said no Kellen Moore, so does not want Kellen Moore here. I will freshen up my LinkedIn and I will throw my name in the hat for for NFL coaching hire as well. All right, so let's see. First time doing this, so we'll see if this works. Okay, so we're sharing. Hopefully everybody can see this. This looks good, I think. But This we're gonna go Adam, Eris, and then me at the end. So I guess Adam, you can start. We'll start with the AFC. We'll start with the AFC. We got the Bills and the Patriots. It looks like you're taking the Bills, Raiders, and Chiefs. Why those three?
I'm taking the Bills because I think that they have home field. Bills Mafia. I can't see them losing to Mac Jones. I think the offense is too good. I don't think the Patriots will be able to keep up. I know that was a problem before. Patriots did keep up. They threw the ball 3 times and beat them, something like that. I think they'll be ready for him this time. And I really like Josh Allen as well. I want to see him succeed. So I'm gonna go with the Bills. Went with the Raiders over the Bengals because I think the Raiders are the better team. Bengals are a young team. I think that the Raiders, with their veteran leadership, they'll be able to take that game. A little bit of an upset. I don't think it'll be an upset, but it's an upset on paper, I guess. Chiefs Steelers, I mean, yeah. The reason saying all respect to Big Ben, I like Big Ben, but
At least he got one more game.
Yeah, he got one more game, so don't get hurt.
True.
Go out there, have some fun. Probably gonna throw like 50 passes.
Might have a Kobe game.
Do I go here?
Might get
Could have a Kobe game. Then I got Bills Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are just the best team in the AFC by far, in my opinion. So I got them winning that. Raiders over the Titans. I know that one's a little bit shocking for most. I don't know. I just like the Raiders this year. I gotta spice something up. So I think Derek Carr is gonna prove himself. Yeah, he's been having a lot of haters, but he's been, he's back to his MVP form for the most part. He has a couple stinkers every once in a while, but I like the Raiders over the Titans, and then I think the Chiefs are gonna blow out the Raiders to get to the AFC Championship game. I see the Chiefs kind of walking through the AFC. Unfortunately, I like it to be a little bit different, but I don't know. I just don't see it this year. Maybe next year when things switch around a little bit. As far as the NFC goes, got the Cowboys over the 49ers. I hope I'm wrong. I would love to see the Cowboys lose on Monday. If I walk in and work if the Cowboys lose, I'm wearing a 49ers. I'm going to buying a 49ers jersey. I'm wearing it on the podcast. I might wear it all week. Cardinals Rams. I like the Cardinals in this one. If DeAndre Hopkins plays, I think he's supposed to. I think he's practicing again. I'm not sure. If he plays, I like the Cardinals. And then Bucks Eagles. I think people are sleeping on the Eagles a little bit. Not really giving them much of a chance, but I think they'll make it competitive. But Tom Brady's not losing that game.
A new home, and
so we got Packers Cardinals.
With the Home Depot,
sorry,
you'll pick it up in no time.
Home Depot just trying to be all up in the podcast.
Shout out to Home Depot.
Went to Home Depot today, actually.
Shout out to Home Depot.
But stay out of here, dude.
So I went Packers Cardinals. I picked the Packers. I don't think the Cardinals can go to Lambeau. It's probably gonna be cold. Kyler Murray, he's a little, smaller guy. I'm not sure how he's gonna do in that cold weather in Lambeau. He's a running quarterback too. It'll be cold. You getting hit a lot. See how that holds up. So I got the Packers over them, and Bucks Cowboys rematch of first game of the year. I'm going Tom Brady again at home. Crowd's gonna be loud. I don't trust the Cowboys at all. I don't trust them to play 2 good games back to back. I don't think they've done it all year, maybe once. So I don't see them beating the Buccaneers. Then Packers over Bucks. I think the only person that can go into Lambeau and beat the Packers is Tom Brady. So that one was tight. I don't want to see Bucks Chiefs again, so I went with the Packers. And then I got the Packers winning it all and Aaron Rodgers leaving.
All right. What about we'll go to Eris's next.
That blue.
I feel like there is a lot of Homer bias here, but go ahead and run through the AFC.
No, so The first game I got Patriots over Bills. Reason being, I heard it's supposed to be probably the coldest it's ever been in Buffalo. And the first time they played with the elements and the weather, the Pats run game couldn't be stopped. Now I get that it'll be hard to replicate and do it again, but I don't know that it'll be so hard to do it again. Or the way it looked the first time made it hard for me to think that it'll be that much worse the second time, if that makes sense. So I went Pats over Bills because just kind of the elements, the way that the Bills offense kind of works. They like to throw the ball, spread it around. So if it's snowing, which I think it's going to be hard for them to do that again. So I think we get the game looking kind of the same, kind of similar to the first time. So I went with the Pats over the Bills. Bengals over Raiders. I like the Bengals team. I do. I think that they got Jamar Chase on the outside. They got Joe Burrow. He's playing confident, swaggy. He's back to his kind of what feels like his national championship form kind of thing. He's playing the best football that he's played in the NFL thus far. And I think that their young team, they're kind of innovative. They're kind of creative. I think they're just a little too much for the Raiders. Though I do like the Raiders defense and the defensive line. They just kind of, I don't know, they're just kind of unconvincing to me sometimes. So I went with the Bengals, I think, in a close one. Mm-hmm. Steelers Chiefs. I mean, Big Ben's going to throw 37, 38 checkdowns, but it's definitely just not going to be enough for the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs start to spread it around early and often. I think they get up early and they put their kind of foot on the necks of the Steelers, and then Big Ben has to try to make some plays. We see what that looks like. We see what that looks like for the Steelers. Big Ben rides off into the sunset, completing like 25 or 50 passes with 19 checkdowns or whatever. Just kind of rides off into the sunset. Titans over Patriots. The reason I went with the Titans is because I think Derrick Henry is going to come back, and I think that's a completely different team in the second round at home with Derrick Henry back on the field. I think Mac Jones' inexperience might finally rear his head. And the Titans, I think, are just a real solid all-around team. And again, with Derrick Henry come back, that's a completely different team. And that Derrick Henry playing makes Ryan Tannehill just that much better. Bengals over Chiefs, I think this is when the Bengals' inexperience and them being young kind of shows up. And I go with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs, again, are the best team in the AFC. I think that they're playing really solid football. They kind of figured it out after the Cowboys game, or I guess during the Cowboys game, they kind of figured it out, and they've been balling kind of ever since. Yeah. So I went with them because it's Patrick Mahomes, it's Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid. They had it all right now. I think they have it all kind of clicking. So I'll go with the Chiefs kind of in a beatdown. Chiefs over Titans. So I got the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl just because I think the Chiefs are very explosive, and I think that if they stop the Titans from controlling the clock, which I think the Titans will try to do whenever Derrick Henry is back, they stop the Titans from controlling the clock. I think they have the advantage. I don't think Julio's playing. I don't think A.J. Brown is playing. They'll have Derrick Henry, but I think they just like the playmakers that they'll need to beat the Chiefs. But I think honestly they might keep it close. And Derrick Henry's gonna have to have the game of his life, I think, for them to win that game. Right. On the other side, 49ers over Cowboys. Right now, that's the trendy upset pick, I think. I think that everyone is thinking that the Niners are gonna come into Dallas and they're gonna obviously play a great game. Deebo Samuel was the best player on the field. Blah blah blah. Yada yada yada.
Who wants some Deebo?
I don't personally think that. I think that in this game, the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys finally have it all, but I think it's a matter of if the Cowboys can put it all together. And I think this is going to be the game, one of the games this season that we feel like the Cowboys put it together, and they have everything kind of in line. We don't like Adam said earlier, it's really rare for them to do it 2 times in a row. But I think this is going to be. They did it against Philly, but it was like the backup versus the backup, so it doesn't really count. But I think this is going to be the game we see it all put in line. I think the Cowboys honestly have, 2 or maybe 3 of the top 5 playmakers in the game. I think that's going to make the difference. And then, of course, our defense being our defense. People tend to forget that the 49ers are starting Jimmy G. Anyway, Rams over the Cardinals. The Cardinals have been playing horrible football over the last few weeks. Even with DeAndre Hopkins playing, I don't know if he fixes all their issues. They just don't look great. They have an added playmaker. They just don't look great. So I'm gonna go with the Rams over the Cardinals as long as they protect the ball. Matthew Stafford doesn't get, too overconfident in his arm. I've seen him perform in the playoffs. In a playoff situation, I think he can do it. And the Cardinals, like I said, they're not playing good football right now. So I'll go with the Rams over the Cardinals. Again, like Adam said, I don't think people are giving the Eagles enough credit. I think they're playing really, really good football, but it's really hard for me to choose anybody over Tom Brady in the first round. It's just, I just don't see it. So I think the Buccaneers is going to be just a little too much for Jalen Hurts and company. So I got the Buccaneers winning that game. So for me, I don't want to see the Packers win, but I'm pretty much kind of chalk all the way through. So I think we're going to get one big upset. I'm really hoping it's not the Cowboys losing to the Niners. So I went with the Rams over the Packers. I think the Packers are good. I think they're the best team in the NFC, but I think that the Rams have enough in the bag to where they can kind of keep the Packers a little off balance. If it comes down to a last drive, I think it'll determine which quarterback has the ball last. If it's Aaron Rodgers, they'll win. If it's Matthew Stafford, not a Packer fan. Yeah, we'll see about that, Bo. If it's Matthew Stafford, I think they win. Matthew Stafford, again, another game where he needs to protect the ball. He protects the ball. I think they get Cam Akers back this week. He protects the ball. They keep the running game. They keep the Packers off balance defensively. They move people around. Cooper Kupp has a big game in this game, I think. I think the Rams in a close one because they'll have the ball last, I think. Cooper Kupp, right corner of the end zone, touchdown for win.
Clip it.
Buccaneers, Cowboys. They got lucky the first time around, all right? They got lucky, all right? And I think the Cowboys put it together and they don't beat us twice. That's going to be
another Home Depot ad somewhere.
There is that the Buccaneers do not beat us twice. I think the Cowboys offense clicks again. I think they kept them off balance the first time. I think we replicate a lot of that stuff again, but we throw just slight wrinkles in it. I think Kellen Moore shows like he should be a head coach in this game against this defense, and I think that he's going to need that. I think he knows he's going to need that. So I think he shows out. We go into Tampa and we beat Tampa. In a close one, but it's a high-scoring game, and I think the Cowboys do it. I don't think they beat us twice. Rams, Cowboys. I'm going with the Cowboys, of course. That's them boys.
Home Depot.
Right? Listen. The logic here is they come into Dallas. Dallas is a good home team. I think that. Again, we finally have it all. I think after 2 wins, we'll be playing with a little confidence. Kellen Moore will be riding the high of the last game. He'll be able to pull out a stop. He'll feel it. He'll keep us moving. Dak Prescott finally plays like MVP Dak Prescott for 3 straight weeks. Puts it together kind of like he was early in the season when we had it clicking on all cylinders. So I got the Cowboys over the Rams. I think Matthew Stafford turns the ball over. That's been my thing with Matthew Stafford all the way through this kind of playoffs is if he can protect the ball. I think the Cowboys are a very opportunistic defense, the best turnover defense in the NFL. I got the Cowboys winning that game because they turned over Matthew Stafford a couple of times defensively, and then they capitalize on that offensively, control the clock, win the game. They don't beat us twice. I got the Cowboys over the Chiefs. They're not going to beat us 2 times in a row, even in the Super Bowl. I think Dallas Cowboys have the speed defensively on the outside to keep Patrick Mahomes contained. I think the thing that we saw last year with the Buccaneers was that they were able to make Patrick Mahomes, they were able to cover Patrick Mahomes' second read, and they had the speed defensively to kind of keep him unsettled and keep him off balance, even though we see that he's good off balance. He wasn't good in that game because of the speed defensively. I think the Cowboys are that fast defensively. We got Michael Parsons. We got Randy Gregory. We got DeMarcus Lawrence. We have the fast defense. We have a very opportunistic defense. Patrick Mahomes makes a lot of very, very risky throws. I think the Cowboys is one of those defenses that can turn them over and take it away from them. And I think Patrick Mahomes doesn't get away with the throws that he got away with last year. I think a lot of those, he should have had more turnovers than he did last year in last year's Super Bowl. So I got the Cowboys winning the Super Bowl. this year. Shout out to my boy Nate West because he said that we were going to win this year, and I'm gonna ride with it.
Yeah, that would be an interesting Super Bowl matchup because I do think the Chiefs secondary could be exposed by the Cowboys receivers, especially like in the back end with like Daniel Sorensen. Like, there's memes all over Twitter about like how Tyrann Mathieu is just like, hey, it's just fed up with him getting burnt all the time. So it reminds me of when the Bears had Chris Conte and he was getting burned like every week, it seems. But okay, that's interesting. I don't think this is going to be right at all. However, everyone's entitled to their opinion.
I'm convinced that Ayers picked the Packers to lose because he doesn't want them to have to play the Cowboys. That's the only reason he picked the Rams to win.
Look, I needed it. Look. If you look at it, I need an upset. I need a big time upset. I feel like everywhere is kind of chalk. You know, I'm chalk all the way through it. I need a big time upset, and that's the one.
All right, we'll see what happens. All right, we're gonna go to mine. I need to preface that I changed my name
Go
to
Packers.
not a Packers fan. I am a lifelong Bears fan. My father is a season ticket holder, so we love the Bears. Okay, so just putting that there. But I'm also not biased. This is a non-biased show. Okay, so
facts, non-biased at all. Exactly.
Okay, I and Adam, I think, are very unbiased. I think Bears may have a little bias, but whatever. We'll see how it goes. So we'll run through my picks. Starting with the Bills and Patriots. This may have a little bit to do with the fact that I live in Boston and I hate the Patriots. But however, I do think that the elements are going to play a factor. The first time they played, as you guys know, Mac Jones had like 3 pass attempts or whatever, and they won. If you guys remember in that press conference after the game, Micah Hyde and I can't remember who else was in that press conference. They were kind of pissed at the media for the questions that they were asking. Like, you knew the run was coming. Why couldn't you stop it? Stuff like that. I think even though the elements are going to be bad again, I actually looked on Ticketmaster and they're selling tickets for like $30. So it's like I'm leaving town this weekend, but it's like if I was in town, I was like, do I pull up to Buffalo for $30? You know what I'm saying? Do we take a cookout trip to Buffalo? You know what I'm saying? With $30 for a lower bowl.
It's gonna be so cold in that stadium.
It's gonna be horrible. It would be bad for you guys because y'all are from Texas, but like I am from the Midwest, so I'm used to this. But yeah, in the end, I think even though the elements are going to be somewhat similar, not as bad in terms of wind, I think that Mac Jones hasn't proven that he can play from behind, and when teams know that he has to throw the ball downfield, he hasn't really proven that he can do that and lead a team to come from behind. So I am going to take the Bills in this one, and then I won't have to hear from Patriots fans on Twitter for a while, so that'll be nice. And then my second. I'm going to take the Bengals over the Raiders. I do like the Raiders story right now, but Joe Burrow is hot right now. He's thrown for almost 1,000 yards within the last 2 games. Man is in fuego right now. Cannot be stopped. And I just like Joe Burrow, man. I don't know. Him, Jamar Chase, like T. Higgins, like, it's just, I like the Bengals where they're. I think where they're going right now is nice. So. I'm gonna take the Bengals. And then Chiefs Steelers, not a lot to be said there. Big Ben on the field, obviously Hall of Fame career. Won't mention other stuff, but like the Chiefs, I think it's gonna be a swan song game for Ben. I think Ben will play his heart out. Have a little Kobe game, but I think in the end he's probably gonna throw for 40 times and have like 127 passing yards, touchdown and a pick, and the Chiefs are gonna win by 40. Next, Bengals and Titans. A little bit of an upset here again, just because I want to get a little spicy on the AFC a little bit. Joe Burrow again is hooping, and I think that with the Titans, I haven't seen Ryan. They haven't been in this position to where they're a number 1 seed, or highly regarded since they lost to my cousin in the Super Bowl back in '99. Whatever, greatest show on turf. But I think without Derrick Henry and Derrick Henry not necessarily being 100%, AJ Brown, there's a lot of variables on the Titans offense that I don't trust. And the Bengals you got to ride the hot hand right now. So I think the Bengals go into Nashville and beat the Titans. Bills versus Chiefs. I think this game is going to be I think it's going to be pretty close. I think this is the AFC Championship game, to be honest. The Bills and the Chiefs. I think that whoever turns the ball over the least is going to win. I think Pat Mahomes in playoffs, I don't think he's going to be as reckless with the ball. And I think they've kind of figured things out towards the second half of the year, as opposed to the Bills. They're still very inconsistent on offense, but I mean, Josh Allen's a monster, so you never know. But I think the Chiefs win by a touchdown in that game. Chiefs, Bengals, I think the Cinderella story kind of ends there. I think the Chiefs kind of put it on the Bengals and go to the Super Bowl. On the NFC side, again, I don't know if my dad's still watching. I'm sorry in advance, but
Packers.
Also sorry to my grandma, rest in peace, but I'm taking the 49ers over her Cowboys because I don't believe in Dak. I don't believe in Dak. And I think Jimmy Garoppolo is playing for his life right now in terms of either him staying on the 49ers or is he going to be on a different team next year? I think the 49ers have been playing good football lately. I think in the playoffs, you lean on your tight ends a lot. So I think George Kittle could be an X factor in that game. But I do think the Cowboys defense, very opportunistic on defense, as Aris kind of mentioned. So I think that's going to be a very, very good game, but I'm taking the 49ers in that game. Rams, Cardinals, maybe a little bit of a homer pick, but I think that the Cardinals the second half of the year have kind of been limping towards the end of the season in terms of their offense because Kyler Murray has been banged up. He's a small guy. So small quarterbacks, you get hit a lot and that wears on you. I don't care if you're a professional athlete or not. The Rams, they get Cam Akers back, went to a great football school, not biased at all, but and then they get Cam Akers back. Odell Beckham has been very productive, way more productive than probably any of us thought he would be. And Cooper Kupp, #1 receiver in the NFL. In terms of like receptions, yards, touchdowns, everything. So I'm kind of shocked he doesn't get more MVP consideration, but I do think that the Rams take that one. Eagles and Buccaneers. I kind of think Jalen Hurts is a very good regular season fantasy football quarterback. He's going to get you a lot of points, but I think that one's not going to be that close. I think Tom Brady is on a mission and he's going to run through that game. Then Packers 49ers. I think that the Packers are just, they're the best team in the NFC, and I hate it because I hate it. But I don't think that the 49ers have a lot for the Packers right now. And I think the Packers kind of cakewalk through that one. I think the Buccaneers and Rams, Matthew Stafford is very prone to throw pick sixes. So is Tom Brady, I guess. But I think Matthew Stafford throws a couple picks in that game. And I think the turnover battle goes to Tampa Bay and they won that game. NFC Championship game. I just didn't want to see a repeat. And I also kind of think that Aaron Rodgers is like just kind of playing football with just middle fingers in the air at this point. So I think he kind of wants to win the Super Bowl, not only to win the Super Bowl, but to kind of give like an FU to the Packers on his way out. So like the petty in me kind of loves that. So I think that he's not gonna be stopped. And I think that in terms of Buccaneers offense, you've seen through the year they're a little inconsistent sometimes. And I think the Packers just overall, like, it's very hard to go into Lambeau and win, even though I hate complimenting the Packers. Right? This is a hard segment for me right now, but I think the Packers win in a close one to go to the Super Bowl. And then again, I think the Packers just overall are the best team right now in terms of running the football. I don't think anyone on the Chiefs is stopping Devontae Adams. Like, you might see him Moss Sorensen in the end zone blowing in coverage or something like that again. I'm just ready for the memes of him and Tyrann Mathieu. Like, dude, what the F? Like, can you guard anybody? So I think that's going to happen. And I think just like Aaron Rodgers is on a mission, man. And I think he's going to win. He's going to win a Super Bowl for Green Bay. So when he leaves, that kind of lessens the blow or whatever. People can't be mad at him because he won a Super Bowl. And then he's going to go to Denver or whatever and probably win another one. I don't know. But then I can root for Aaron Rodgers after that. But yeah, that's what I got.
Can we talk about how you don't trust you don't trust Dak, but you ride with Jimmy G. It's like that.
I think Jimmy G has more to play for right now than Dak, and I think there's more urgency on that side because
I think
everyone wants to see Trey Lance, and I also think that he's auditioning for his next team.
I think the writing's on the wall for Jimmy G anyway. I mean, they already drafted Trey Lance, so it is what it is for Jimmy G at this point.
I mean that could be true too. I want to see Dak. I want to see Dak kind of like what I was saying about Mac Jones, just bringing a team from behind. I kind of want to see if Dak's got that. He's got the money. Like he's had a great story, like coming back and playing as well as he has. Like he's definitely exceeded my expectations of Dak Prescott and things like that. But I don't know. I think the 49ers are there's more urgency in that organization right now than the Cowboys. I think this was kind of like a luxury year. Like if Dak played well, like that's a luxury. I think next year is going to be the year to where you really hear about the Cowboys, unfortunately.
I think Dak plays well from behind. I think that's when we see, the best Dak Prescott. A lot of times, I mean, if the Cowboys go down early, I think that's when we're going to see a really, really good Dak Prescott. I think if the Cowboys keep it close for most of the game, which I don't anticipate, but I think if the Cowboys keep it close, if the 49ers and Cowboys game is close, I think we're gonna see a very, very okay Dak Prescott. I think if the Cowboys are behind, that's when we'll see Dak Prescott at his best. Because I think Dak Prescott actually plays a lot better from behind when it feels like he's playing free. It doesn't feel like he's playing free all the time.
So do you think if Dak, say that the Cowboys go down 2 touchdowns and Dak has to throw the ball 40, 45 times and the defense knows that, do you think that the Cowboys come back and win that game?
Well, I don't know. It depends. For me, it depends. I don't think it'll be Dak Prescott's wrongdoing if we're down 14 and we come back and we come back from behind. If we have to kick it, that's when we'll have the issue because Greg Zuerlein is not reliable at all, and I think we all know that. I think like all Cowboys fans know that. Cowboys coaching staff knows it. If he has to kick it, we could be in trouble. So
here's my problem with Dak. I don't think he's a good quarterback, but when you say that he plays well from behind, like that shouldn't be a thing for the Cowboys with the weapons that they have. They shouldn't have to play from behind with CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Ezekiel Elliott. I don't think Tony Pollard's gonna play, but he is. Tony Pollard, CJ Wilson. It's like you shouldn't. There's no he plays better. I don't want to hear that from him anymore. That was an excuse a couple years ago when they didn't have those weapons. But no, you need to show me that you're you got the money you wanted. So it's time to show up and don't play from behind. I don't want to hear that. I want to see you go out there. You're better. The Cowboys are better than the 49ers in every way possible.
So like the thing about that, right, and the thing about Dak Prescott playing from behind is that when we do go behind, it feels like Dak Prescott has played horribly, right? A lot of times we'll be playing from behind, our defense will be playing like really good football. They're just on the field so much. So I 100% agree. Like the way that our team is constructed right now, we shouldn't be playing from behind. We have a really, really good defense, opportunistic. We turn them over. We play fast. We force a lot of punts. The thing about the Cowboys is that we will like punt it right back, and that shouldn't happen. Like you said, you got the money you asked for. Now it's time to show it. I think if we're behind, he does play well from behind, but you shouldn't be behind. We shouldn't be behind. You're in this situation to make those plays, and I don't think we'll see that this week against the 49ers. Like I said, Jimmy G's gonna have to throw the ball, and I think we're fine if Jimmy G's throwing the football around.
We'll live if Jimmy G throws the ball.
We're good on Jimmy G.
Cowboys went from needing a defense and having a good offense to needing an offense to be better with a good defense.
Yeah, Trey,
Very
I actually
true.
agree with that. I agree with that, Trey. That you know, for us to have the names that we have on offense, right? We have a pretty solid offensive line. Dak Prescott, Cedric Wilson, even though I wanted Odell Beckham, Cedric Wilson, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Dalton Schultz. I think Blake Jarwin's going to be back this week. Zeke, Tony Pollard. We have all these weapons. We have all these names on the offense, and we're not, we're not scoring 30, 35, 40 points a game. It's just it seems like the same story with Tony Romo where we couldn't put both things together. That's kind of what it seems like for us.
I think I'm kind of excited because I think it's going to be a very big year for Dak Prescott and Matthew Stafford too. I think both of them. There's no more excuses. They both had excuses in the past. You have everything you want. You're in the situation that you want. It's time to show up. And I love Matthew Stafford, but the same thing with him. I mean, he's not in Detroit anymore. He has all these weapons. I think Derek Carr, the same thing as well. It's time to show up. Show that you're that top tier. Show that you belong with Russell Wilson, Rodgers, Drew Brees, Brady. You belong with them. So I'm excited for it, and there's no excuses. I don't want to hear anything.
My last thing about the Cowboys and Dak Prescott is that I worry a little bit that if this game is the last game of the season for us, I think Kellen Moore does get a head coaching job. I think that and it obviously it probably won't be in Dallas because we have Mike McCarthy and he's won all these games or whatever.
Yeah.
And honestly, at the beginning of the year, I thought this was Mike McCarthy's last year because we've been priming Kellen Moore, yada, yada, yada. But I see a lot of Sean Payton going on right now as Kellen Moore goes to a different team kind of thing after we've primed him to be the head coach of the team kind of deal. And so I worry about that next year is, who do we replace Kellen Moore with? Offensive coordinator, creativity, quarterback whisperer kind of deal. So, I mean, if this is the last game of the year for him, Dak Prescott might not take that next step. And then, next year we're talking about what the hell is wrong with Dak Prescott? And is he the guy kind of deal?
I hope he's the guy.
For my sake, I hope he's the guy too.
Oh,
man. I hope so. I don't think the Cowboys window is as open as some people think that it is.
Let's see. A couple people texted me, asked, "Did I really pick the Packers to win the Super Bowl?"
Packers fan.
I did.
Let's go ahead and get some Packers gear.
I will not. First of all, I don't like the colors green or dark green or yellow like that. I do like the Celtics, so I like Kelly green, but not that dark forest green or whatever. That's ugly. But but yeah. So I do have the Packers winning.
We don't like Kelly Green on this podcast.
Our background is like Kelly green. That's like Celtics green.
It's also like Eagles green, and we don't like them on this podcast.
The retro Eagles green, like the Randy Carmichael Eagles. But yeah, man. I think we were going to talk about NBA trades, but I think we're going to save that for the next episode or maybe the episode after that, because trade deadline in the NBA is February 10th at 3 p.m. Eastern. So we do have a little bit of time. So there is going to be a lot of developments within that time frame, I would assume. But I mean, most recently today, Cam Reddish reuniting with RJ Barrett in New York. So we'll see how that goes. And then what else happened recently? The bowl thing kind of fell through because he didn't pass the medical physical. So that's the latest updates there. But I think we will do like some trade projections and see if we can get any more information, or we'll like throw out some potential trades. Hopefully Marcus Smart gets out of here. Marcus Smart, I know you're not watching, but keep playing well so we could have, maybe some trade value. I don't know. But anyway, thanks you guys for joining, people in the comments. Thanks for keeping it, vibey in the comment section. We appreciate that. Dad Talks, Trey, Fur, others, whoever else was commenting too. But we will be back next week. And yeah, other than that, we got to think of an outro too. Like, Bo, Harris, sauce out. Like sick outro video. So we'll get working on that. But this is episode 1. I think it went pretty well. There wasn't many hiccups outside of the random Home Depot commercials. So I apologize for those.
Shout out Home Depot.
I went there today, but
Shout out Home Depot.
Shout out Home Depot, man. Boom, 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 boom. Anyway, all right, guys. I will talk to you soon. And go Bears. Let's get it.
How you exit this bitch? How you leave this hole? End?